I hate when that happens. First of all, I'd like to say thank you for tuning in, those that are tuning in. If you're tuning in, make sure you go ahead and start your watch party. If you know the platform, you already know what to do. I definitely need you to drop your location where you're viewing from before we get everything started. Everyone knows what today is. Of course, everyone knows and understand that this is MLK, the day that we are pretty much giving him his flowers every year. So before we kick it off, the first thing I want to do is to first of all take a small moment of silence, and then once we're finished with that, we're gonna go into. I've just been looking at videos all day, trying to figure out what I want to show, what I want him to say to you, and I found one today. I think is pretty interesting. It's rather interesting. And once we hear him speak about some of these subjects that he's going to be communicating about, then we're going to show some quotes that some of them I've never heard before. You know, they talk about the "I had a dream" speech and stuff like that. They show those quotes all the time. But there's plenty of things that the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King said that sometimes get lost, and we're going to show that. So again, before we start, we're going to have a quick moment of silence for Dr. King and the thing that he has done for us right now in the future. So a quick moment of silence.
I make my decisions on the basis of my moral commitment, and I take my ministry very seriously. I would not say that the civil rights movement is dead. It's simply that we are moving to a new phase of the movement. For now 12 years, we struggle to end legal segregation and all of the humiliation surrounding legal segregation. So it was a struggle for decency. It was a struggle to get rid of extremist behavior toward Negroes. Now we are in a new phase, and that is a phase where we are seeking genuine equality, where we are dealing with hard economic and social issues. And it means that the job is much more difficult. It's much easier to integrate a lunch counter than it is to guarantee an annual income. It's much easier to integrate a bus than it is to get a program that will force the government to put billions of dollars into ending slums. It's a wonderful thing to work and be concerned about integrating public accommodations, or integrating the public schools, which I will continue to work for with vigor and with zeal. But I've also got to be concerned about the survival of a world in which to be integrated. And these issues to me are tied together in that sense.
How did you arrive at this decision, and who influenced your thinking?
I thought about it for several months, and finally I went away to write a book in Jamaica where I had a chance to reflect and meditate and do a great deal of thinking about the war in Vietnam. And I came to the conclusion then that I had no alternative but to take a vigorous stand against the war.
Dr. King, when you speak out against this war, do you speak as a Negro opponent of the war? Is there something especially anti-Negro or racist about the war that impels you to speak out?
I cannot overlook the fact that I am a Negro, and that this war is doing a great deal to destroy the lives of thousands and thousands of my brothers and sisters. We are dying physically in disproportionate numbers in Vietnam, some 22 and 4/10% of the deaths, even though we are only about 11% of the population. The other thing is that we are dying spiritually and psychologically in disproportionate numbers at home, in the ghettos. And I think the war itself accounts for our constant spiritual and psychological death here at home.
I weighed the criticisms that I would get.
Yes, sir.
I thought about even the fact that some Negroes wouldn't understand, and some respectable Negro leaders who are more concerned about being invited to the White House than invited to the cause of justice would be against me. I weighed all of this. And as I weighed in it, as I prayed over it, something said to me that you got to speak on this issue. If you don't speak on it and others don't speak, I'm not going to give up. I'll have even the rocks to cry out against this war. It's an evil war. No matter where it leads, no matter what abuses it may bring, I'm going to tell the truth.
Yeah. That was pretty intense for me as I began to listen to it for the first time. You know, again, when they talk about Martin Luther King, they talk about the "I had a dream" speech, but the man has put in lots of work, and he has enlightened a lot of people. I know he has enlightened a lot of things that you had begin your path. You know, being exposed to bigger and better and greater things. A lot of it came off the sweat off of his brow and the whole civil rights movement. But like he said in the beginning, is this the beginning of a new civil rights? And for me, when I hear that, we have to understand the nature of what the word civil means. You know, civil means not as hard, or civil means don't take away as much. And I look at it from this perspective, and we all really have to understand this. And for me, this is I'm speaking for me right now. We have to understand where do we want to go. We have to understand who are we taking with us. And we have to understand that we may be going into places to where we may find that we're the only ones there. And you have to be comfortable in being the only one in the room at that particular time, because the places that you are going, you may be the person that brings that back to the fold, to allow the fold to understand what's going on, to allow the fold to be able to eat off of the information that you had brought out, because you went into that place that you had felt like you were the only one there. And as you heard in the end, he began to talk about, if I don't talk about it, who will? I'm not concerned about who's in the room. I'm not concerned about who's communicating about what. You have to be about your business. You have to be about doing the community work. You have to be about ensuring what change looks like, because change should be starting in your home, should start within the fabric of your own personal existence before you ever begin the process of what you feel change should look like within your community. Let's begin to tackle these things that we fight personally, the spiritual warfare that we find ourselves in. We have to look deep within before we begin to look and develop that outward approach. So the things that Dr. Martin Luther King had lived for, we have to ensure that we're prepared to die for. We're prepared to die for justice. We're prepared to die for equality. We're prepared to die for equity. But we have to ensure that we understand what those things mean. And we have to ensure that we understand the nature of where we're going, and it should be progressive. There's a big difference in just talking about, oh, we're moving forward. Where is forward? If forward is not the direction that you should be going, sometimes we need to have a seat before we begin the process of forward progress. Sometimes we have to sit down and begin to collect our thoughts. And sometimes we have to sit down ensure that the plan that we have set for ourselves is actually a plan that is conducive to the direction that we're going to go. Sometimes we can't do it by ourselves. And I can take that personal approach because for me, sometimes it's like it's the pot calling the kettle black. That's my transparency. So I think especially, we can talk New Year's resolution all the time. We can talk, we're new year, new me, new year, new you. But we can't continue to do the same things that we did last year and talk about this is a new year. It's not new because you're doing the same thing that you did yesterday or the same thing you did before. Especially in our communities with nonprofit organizations, we should begin to allow ourselves to sit down and have conversations to look what unity to begin to develop what unity is going to look like, to begin to understand what are the paths that we're going to take in order for us to develop that cohesive group that we can be. Success is everyone's responsibility. Success is not just one group. Success is not just one set. Success is not just one particular organization. Success is all of ours. It is all of our responsibility. I had an interview today with a news reporter, and they had called, and they got on a Zoom call, and one of the questions that she had asked was, do you feel that Martin Luther King would be proud of the protests and the riots and things of that nature? And I told her, I said, that's what that man died for. He died for us to ensure that we understand the rights that we have to stand against injustice. Don't allow him to have died in vain. And one of the things that I told her, and it really hit home after I said it, I said the shooter of the assassination of Martin Luther King thought they had killed him. But the only thing they did was immortalize that man. He lives on forever. He is a legend, and he will always maintain that legend status. So I'm going to show a couple of quotes that I found today. And I want to hear from you. Like, when you see the quote, how does it resonate with you? And how do you see it for your own personal self? So the first quote that I found is, a riot is the language of the unheard. What does that mean to you when you see that? How do you understand it? When you see a riot is the language of the unheard, how do you understand that? How do you see it? Go ahead and put that in the comments. How do you see that? And one of the things that I had told the reporter, because she kept trying to force and push in riot and push in protest, and I told her, I said, you have to be very careful about the language that you choose to communicate, because riot could have a negative connotation. A protest could have a negative connotation. But I said, what we're doing right now is taking a stand. We're taking a stance. We're coming together, developing a cohesive stance to stand as a unified front against the things that people don't want us to do, which is to begin to organize. All right. So the next one that I'm going to pull up is this one. I'm sure some of you might have heard this speech. He said, if you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you just have to keep moving forward. Now, when you hear this, when you've seen this, whether you've seen the video or whether you are seeing this for the first time, this is all about perseverance. It's all about perseverance. But the biggest thing is, do you have the endurance? Having the endurance is what's going to allow you to continue to do what you do. Having the endurance is going to give you the ability to continue to push. Having the endurance is like tapping into that God that you have within. It's like tapping into that inner you to tell yourself not to quit. It's to tap into that resilient side of you that you naturally have. But sometimes there are some things that you're going to find that's going to pull that natural resilient in that natural resilient energy that you have with inside of you, that's going to cause you to begin to keep going. That's going to cause you to begin to keep pushing. And you have this one: injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. How do you see this? Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Again, these are some quotes that I found today. Again, like when it comes to our kids and what they teach our children inside of the history books, and they talk about Martin Luther King, they talk about the I Have a Dream speech because it sounds good. It sounds like the softer side of things. And he really began to honestly drop real heavy jewels at the end of his time when it came close to the end of his life. And this right here, when he says, our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter. Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter. This is telling us to speak up. This is telling us that if we have things that we stand for, we have to be able to communicate about those things. Just like when you look at the definition of learn, when it says to learn is the process of acquiring knowledge, that means it is a continuance. It is something that is always going on. Just like, when it's saying our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter the most. Standing up in your community, communicating about things that you have a strong stance for, ensuring that you have the ability to take that stand and not just lie down. We have to begin to stand up for the things that we know that's right. And this right here is my favorite one that I found. And this is just so profound. Of course, those who know, especially faith from the biblical terms, faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. But he broke this down so nice. He said, faith is taking the first step, even when you don't see the whole staircase. This man wrote this January 15th, 1929. No, I'm sorry. He was born January 15, 1929. His passing was April 4th, 1968. He wrote this so long ago, but yet it is still so powerful even till today. And I'm going to bring this up and I'm going to say it again. He said, faith is taking the first step, even when you don't see the staircase. That's powerful. Have you taken your first step? Whether your first step is into creating your business plan, or whether your first step is into writing the vision and making it plain. Whether your first step is to breaking down strongholds that you have within your family, or whether your first step is to, if you're trying to eat healthy, those types of things, whatever it is, have you taken that first step yet? Looking at what the finish line looks like before you even start the race. I'm going to say that again. Getting to the finish line before you start the race. Applying the things that you already know that you need to do in order for you to start. That is applying the applications of your faith. Knowing I'm going to get to the finish line, but before I get to the finish line, I must start the race. I must take my first step. I must understand that the direction that I'm going is progressive. That's going to get me to the point to where my business is going to be thriving. I'm getting to the point to where I am creating access for my clients to do bigger and better and greater things. I'm getting my first client. I figured out how to get my first client, and the actions that I've taken in order for me to get to my first client, I duplicate that process and to get to my second client. I wrote my first book. Me learning the process of writing my first book allowed me to learn the process on how I can help someone else write books even after I wrote my first one, because you was not worried about the staircase. You was committed to the first step. All right. So I'm going to let that go. Y'all let that sink in. Y'all let that sit and go from there. So let's go ahead and go to the update. So right now, I know we kind of prematurely kicked it off and talked about it. I think this was around December time frame. So there is a corporate, there's a company corporate on the corporate ladder that had reached out to the Village United as well as the Innovation Black Chamber of Commerce, and they're sponsoring 5 families, and their goal is, so this is going to start on Wednesday. So I'm going to tell you right now, but when you see it start on Wednesday, I do have one application that did come in, but you're going to see it you're going to see it come out on Wednesday. So there was a corporation that reached out. They're wanting to bless 5 families with $500. So 5 families going to be blessed with $500. We already created the rubric, and we've already created the application process, and you're going to see this roll out and launch and hit hard on Wednesday. This is a real simple process. Only thing you need to do is you're going to fill out this application. So what's going to happen? We're going to bless one veteran-owned business. One veteran. We're going to bless a small business owner. We're going to bless, I think, a single parent, and we're going to bless, what's the other one? Someone who's unemployed, who just lost their job. We're just going to ensure that we're going to be a blessing. So what's going to happen is there's going to be a whole complete, like a 2-week process. So it's going to kick off on Wednesday. Then during next week, there's going to be at the end, I think from Wednesday to Wednesday, there's going to be the collecting of the applications. And then after that, we go to the deliberation process. So we're going to take the rubric and we're going to score the applications based off of the rubric. And once that is complete on the 1st of February, which is the beginning of Black History Month, we're going to, so you're going to, if you are a winner according to the rubric, then you're going to know on that Saturday that you won. And then on the 1st of February is when we're going to be delivering. It's kind of like the, what's that company? Publishers Clearinghouse. So we're going to be going to these 5 families with this big check, of course, with the real check too, gift card. And we're going to be blessing 5 families with $500 on and at the beginning of Black History Month. So again, this is the partnership between the Village United and Innovation Black Chamber of Commerce. They had reached out to us, and we want to be a blessing to you. So make sure you're paying attention to the Innovation Black Chamber of Commerce Facebook page. If you're just watching, but you're not following, or if you're following and you have yet to turn on the notifications, make sure you do that, because once that launch, only thing you need to do is fill out that information, submit that fillable PDF form, and then just pretty much wait to see if you got it. And if you want to be if you want to intercede for somebody else, you can intercede for somebody else as well, and to be a blessing for them too. So again, make sure you watch the Innovation Black Chamber of Commerce on Wednesday. It's going to get kicked off. You're going to see the flyer come out, and yeah, it's real simple for you to do. All right, so for the members of the Innovation Black Chamber of Commerce, we are happy to bring you the SBA District Director, Mr. Herbert Austin. He's going to be talking about the new Round 2 PPP, the EIDL disaster loan, the debt relief, the SBA debt relief, and the shuttered venue grant. That's going to be on Wednesday. It's going to be on Zoom on Wednesday at 2 p.m. So if you're a member of IBCC, just go ahead and check your emails, and you're going to see the link for your registration for this. So it's not like we're, communicating with somebody who read about the new PPP. We're actually hearing it from the director himself. So Mr. Herbert Austin is going to be on Zoom communicating about SBA and the new PPP that just came out. So if you have any questions that you're going to bring and you want Mr. Herbert to ask, make sure you tap into that Zoom. Make sure you have your questions already ready. So only thing that he has to do, go through his whole presentation, and then once that is complete, he's going to be able to answer your questions. So if you're a member of IBCC, we're bringing this very prestigious gentleman who is a director of SBA District Director. It's real weird. I say that because we're here in Killeen, but our district director is actually in Dallas. Dallas covers Dallas all the way down to Killeen. But then you got from Austin goes all the way to San Antonio. It's like we're like at the end of the rope, which is weird. We're only an hour away from Dallas, but we're out of district if we try to go to the SBA in Dallas. So for the members out there, we already sent you that link. So make sure you click that link, and make sure you're there in the Zoom on Wednesday at 2:00, where you can hear from the director himself about what the SBA is doing. And I know for me, hearing conversations about the EIDL grant, people saying, oh, the grant is out, but then you go on the SBA website, you don't see the grant information, and then you see somebody post about the grant information again. I want to know, is the EIDL grant the $10,000 grant? Because they also have targeted EIDL grants, which is targeting businesses that are in the lower socioeconomic community. What does that mean? If you're in like the 4041 in those zip codes, so targeted those particular communities that are in those zip codes, you will. I'm not saying it's guaranteed. So we're going to ask Mr. Herbert himself, Mr. Austin himself, is the targeted EIDL grant, is it guaranteed $10,000? So if the answer is yes, we're definitely going to make sure you get that information. If the link comes out by Wednesday, we definitely want you to fill that out. Why? Because we want to make sure that your business is just as successful as possible. And that's what we do here at the Innovation Black Chamber of Commerce. Is that it? No, one more thing. All right. So if you haven't found out, make sure you tap into the Innovation Black Chamber of Commerce. We have the Texas Black Business Week coming up on February 8th through the 13th. It is the second week of February. So I'm gonna tell you about this. I'm gonna give you a little history about the Black Business Week. So this is the science behind Black Business Week. For those that, I'm gonna ask this question. I'm gonna see who knows. All right. So before it was called now, if you already know the story, don't comment anything. So before it was called Black History Month, what was it called? Before it was ever called Black History Month, what was the original name of Black History Month? What was the original name? Okay, who has the answer? So nobody have the answer? Or y'all just type that slow? It is fair. Nah, don't give him a minute. Nah, if you know the answer, then keep the answer. I'm talking for the people that haven't been here since the beginning. I don't know, Joanne. You cheating. You've been around since the beginning. Joanne, Shirley, Phoenix. You've been around. Black History Week? No. Wrong. Wrong. It was not called Black History Week. You told us, nah, that's wrong. I bet you if I said I'll cash app you $100, somebody would know. But I'm not doing it. You should know. Yeah. Black History Week. No, that is incorrect. It was not called Black History Week. So what was it called, and what was the name of the creator, the visionary behind it? Y'all looking terrible. Looking at all these terrible comments. Really? Y'all don't know it? Y'all don't know the answer? All right, bet. So I'm not going to give the answer. We're going to save this. No, I'm not going to come on, Joanne. No. All right, so Candice got it. Negro History Week. So before it was called Black History Month, it was called Negro History Week. So now my question is, who said African American History Month? No, terrible. I wish I can kick you out of the chat and then let you in later. No, it was called Negro History Week. So now who was the visionary behind Negro History Week? What's the answer to that question? Who was the visionary behind Negro History Week? Mr. Tommy Spearman, how you doing, sir? See, Shirley cheating. All right, yes, the visionary behind Negro History Week was Carter G. Woodson. The visionary behind Negro History Week was Carter G. Woodson. So for those who did not know that Black History Month was originally called Negro History Week, it wasn't always called Black History Month. They didn't always give us 28 days. I mean, yeah, it sucks they gave us the shortest month of the year, but it was called Negro History Week before it was called Black History Month. Oh, now he want to put Carter G. Woodson after somebody else put Carter G. Woodson. Come on, man. I know you read the comment first. So all right. So Carter G. Woodson was the visionary behind Negro History Week. So the dates behind Negro History Week was, I didn't finish reading. Oh, you cheated. All right. So the dates behind Negro History Week, the first date of Negro History Week was the I think the birthday of Carter G. Woodson. And the end of Negro History Week was the birthday. Now, if you know it, then I'll let you say it. So the ending of Negro History Week was based off of whose birthday? So the last day of Negro History Week was based off of whose birthday? No one knows. If you don't know, Lincoln? No. No, it was not Abraham Lincoln. Wait a minute. Hold on. You might have. You might have got me. Phoenix, I might have spoke out of context. Yep, you're right. All right. So Negro History Week was between two birthdays. The first one was Frederick Douglass. Frederick Douglass, who never really knew his mother. I mean, he never really knew his actual birth date. So his mother gave him a nickname of Valentine. She would always say, "My Valentine, my Valentine." So he took that as, "Oh, my birthday must be around Valentine's Day." So he took that date. And then the second date was Abraham Lincoln. So Miss Phoenix, you got me. You're right, but you jarred back the memory. What'd she say? Ha ha. Okay, Shirley, whatever. She just jarred it back. So it was between Abraham Lincoln's birthday and Frederick Douglass's birthday. That was Negro History Week. So now my question to you, I'll just read it. Negro History Week brings attention to his mission to help school systems coordinate their focus on the topic, which chose the second week of February as it encompasses both Douglas' birthday and Abraham Lincoln's birthday. So what did he do? I'm not cash apping you nothing. So what did he do? What was the mission and the nature behind Negro History Week? Negro History Week was created to ensure that we empowered through the education system to talk about the great things that Black people have done, highlight some of the great orators that we've had, some of the great people that have been within the fabric of history. That's what they pushed out during Negro History Week. And then it had begun to grow and it changed over and switched into Black History Month. So what we did was we took the second week of February, which was originally for the education of Black people about Black people. So we took that and we put that in the second week of February as the education of Black businesses. So when you look at Texas Black Business Week, it is about the education of Black businesses, because Negro History Week was created to educate Black people, as they say Negroes back then, was to educate the Negro about other Negroes. So we brought Black Business Week was to educate Black businesses about business, where we're talking about customer service, we're talking about branding. This year we're talking about government contracting. We're talking about small business accounting. We're talking about business credit. We're talking about non-essential and essential businesses, veteran-owned businesses, Google, Microsoft. So we have a lot of workshops set up for you to create a much more level of success, because it is at no cost to you. The only thing that is going to do is going to take you to put in the time in order to do it. This is a hybrid environment, meaning there are some physical classes that you can walk into, and there are some virtual classes that you have the ability to watch online. So make sure you go to Texas Black Business Week 2021.eventbrite.com, and you click on that link. Now there are some classes that are already completely tapped out. So some of y'all who's been watching, who's been seeing about Black Business Week, who's been waiting for the last moment to go do things, y'all know that's how some of y'all do. And you pretty much waited. I don't know why you waited, but this is something that you don't have to wait for. Education is something that happens all the time. Why wait for February to register for something that you could have registered with way back in November. But anyway, I digress. Let me see what else. There was no birthday associated with the last day of the. Yes, correct. It was within the weeks of those two particular people with Frederick Douglass' birthday and Abraham Lincoln's birthday, which is on February 12th. So they put that on the second week of February. Thank you, Miss Joanne. Yeah, I think that's it. Hey, let's just be more accountable. Let's maintain that level of transparency that we need in order for us to create change. And let's understand what change looks like. If change looks like you and I doing things that is going to go towards the betterment of our community, then change looks like us. If it looks like you actually taking the weight and actually carrying the load on some things in order for something to change and progress, then change looks like you. If change don't look like us and change don't look like you, then change must look like me. So then I have to take my responsibility of doing the things that I am gifted in doing in order for it to make a difference for the community. Then change looks like me. My change don't have to look like your change. Your change doesn't have to look like my change. But the only thing that we're responsible for are the things that we're responsible for. And that's when we begin to stay in our lanes and to do things that's going to make things better for the community that we serve and the community that we service. But I definitely appreciate you guys for being here for the Innovation Black Chamber of Commerce members. Again, make sure you are tapped into Wednesday at 2:00 to where the SBA District Director, Mr. Herbert Austin, will be talking to you about the new Round 2 PPP and EIDL disaster loan, disaster relief, and a shuttered venue grant. So for those businesses that do hold venues, you definitely want to know about the shuttered, the shuttered venue grant, because that's going to help you out because you don't have to pay it back. If you're already hurting to stay in business and there's a grant that is specifically there for you in your event space, then why don't you fill out the information in order for you to receive access to capital, even when they begin to shut those venues down? All right, you guys be blessed. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Why? Because tomorrow is another day for you to be successful. If you're interested in knowing more about the Innovation Black Chamber of Commerce, go to our website. That's innovationbcc.org. And if you're interested with knowing more about it, you can give me a call at 254-415-9951, 254-415-9951. That is the Chamber's cell phone. So you can either call or you can send a text so you can connect, because the main thing that I'm interested in is how is your business structured? What's the foundation of your business? We are creating some new advantages within the chamber for your business. Definitely going to transition into more business development this year, knowing and sitting down. I want to see what your business plan looks like. If you don't have a business plan, we have members that write business plans to get that squared away for you to make it better, because your business plan is what is going to create a much more fundable business. Because if a financial institution, whether you're going through a CDFI or whether you're going through a traditional financial source, which is a bank, they're going to want to look at what your business plan looks like. And if you don't have that together, then no one is ready to fund you, because you don't have the basic foundations of the things that they need in order for them to give you access to capital. So we're definitely hitting into business development this year. I think that's it. Hey, you guys be blessed. Enjoy the rest of y'all evening, and y'all be strong. Enjoy y'all weekend. Well, weekend today. Bye. Y'all be blessed.